In today's video, I want to talk about one of my biggest fears, and it's my health. I'm scared to death that I'm going to have a health issue. My health. How do I stay healthy? I'm over 50. How do I get back in shape? How do I stay in shape when I'm living on the road full time? How do I avoid these health issues? Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the simplest, most basic problem that many of us have who live on the road full time. And that is we become dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. My name is Mitch. I'm spending this year transitioning into van life. I'm going to purchase a van and hit the road and travel full time. I do these daily updates as a work in progress to share with you my journey for the next year as I transition into full-time life on the road. One thing I'm working on this year as I transition into van life and become a full-time lifer on the road, living in my van, is my health. That's one of my main goals, is to get back in shape, make sure I stay healthy. It's probably our biggest fear as a person who lives full-time on the road. It's staying healthy. My health. How do I stay healthy? How do I stay in shape? What can I do to avoid getting sick and having to seek out an emergency room while I'm on the road? Those are the kinds of fears that I have. Those are the kinds of questions I have. I want to stay fit, and I want to get back in shape this year as I transition into van life. The simplest mistake that we van lifers make while we're on the road, it's not very exciting, but the simplest mistake that we make is we become dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. I try to drink as much water as I can each day, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. I drink too much coffee. I don't drink enough pure, clean water and become dehydrated. Think about it. We're driving long hours. We're sitting for long periods of time. We don't stop and take breaks. We're traveling through these large differences and variances in weather and heat. We have these huge heat swings in terms of temperatures, especially here in Texas. I mean, one day it could be 110 and the next day it could be 60. Think about the last few days. Have you become fatigued? Have you had a headache? Are you getting irritable? Are people getting on your nerves? Well, sometimes that's because you're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water. While we're traveling on the road, there's a lot of things going on. We're entering new climates. Weather's changing. Temperatures are changing. We're not making rest stops. It's hard finding good sources of water unless we stop at a truck stop or stop often enough to get some water at a grocery store or something. But we tend to travel for long periods of time, for hours on end, and we go without drinking enough fluids to keep us at our peak. And it's easy to become dehydrated over time because we just don't drink enough water. And I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to change that this year. I'm going to ease off a little bit on the coffee before I drink massive amounts of water. I want to drink lots of water. There's some simple things that we can do to help us with our dehydration. And one thing is we can start off the day with water before we start drinking our coffee. Now, I know that's going to be tough because I usually have my coffee before anything else. But we probably need to drink a couple of glasses, maybe a couple of 8-ounce glasses of water before we have our coffee in the morning. And we probably, while we're driving in the car or in the van, in the RV, we want to keep a bottle of water handy within visible sight at all times. Just keep a bottled water nearby so that you can take a drink. The other thing is this idea of electrolytes. We want to be sure and add enough electrolytes to our water to make sure that our minerals that we're losing as we sweat are replenished. Regular water won't cut it. We've got to have a daily amount of electrolytes to help feed our bodies. Electrolytes are minerals that we lose in our system when we sweat. They're important minerals that we need to keep in our bodies, to keep our muscles functioning, to keep us healthy. Things like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, those are the minerals that we lose when we sweat, and electrolytes help replenish those minerals. Why do electrolytes matter? Well, they control our body fluids. They keep us hydrated. They help with our muscle function. They also deal with the nerve signals in our bodies. They send electrical signals. As we sweat, we get dehydrated. We're not just losing water, we're also losing those minerals. And the nerve signals need those minerals to help communicate, to help send messages to our muscles to keep functioning. The basic idea here is we're losing, when we sweat, we're losing these important minerals that are part of our bodies that help keep us healthy. When things go sideways and you get dehydrated, you start feeling fatigued, you maybe suffer a headache, you sort of just don't feel normal, you feel a little off. You really feel fatigued, really tired. So that's a good sign that you may be dehydrated. Whenever you are on the road and you're driving long hours and you've put in a long day of driving and you really feel fatigued and tired, always think first, I'm dehydrated. That's probably the first thing you need to think about. And you need to drink plenty of fluids and get those electrolytes back into your system. The best way to get electrolytes back into our system is probably use these packets. I went on Amazon and there's plenty of products available, electrolyte packets that you can get in powder form that you can just add to your water. That's probably the easiest way. A lot of these sport drinks that sell you on having electrolytes, they're full of sugar, a lot of them. So you need to be sure if you buy a bottle of water like a Gatorade that has electrolytes, get sugar-free drinks with electrolytes. And they're expensive, you know, you're going to pay a little bit more for water with electrolytes in it because a lot of these sport drinks are in it to make money, of course. So probably the best way to do it is just buy these packets, buy this powder. You can buy some powder in these big jars and just add a tablespoon to your water or whatever and go from there. That's probably the easiest way. So just go on Amazon and do a search for electrolytes and you'll see all kinds of different products come up. And get that powder and add it to the water. We can also get electrolytes from our food. We can eat bananas to get the potassium. Salt, of course, has the sodium. We can eat nuts and greens. Those also replenish these minerals that we lose when we sweat. But the best thing to do is probably just keep an eye on your symptoms, and if you feel like your brain is getting fogged up and you don't feel right and you're tired, your muscles are cramping up, you feel fatigued, think first, I'm dehydrated. That's the first thing you need to think about, and then you need to maybe just get some water and add a packet of electrolyte powder to the water and replenish your body with those minerals. So when we're traveling, when we're on the road, we vanlifers, we RVers, we need to keep a bottle of water within our reach while we're driving. Always keep one visible and handy. We want to carry these electrolyte packets and have the powder available to replenish our system when we need it. And we need to use them especially on days when it's hot and we've been doing a lot of sweating and we feel rather sluggish or fatigued, or we just don't feel right. That's the best time to be thinking about being dehydrated.